Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sega Does Podcast, episode 34. It's mine and Dylan's annual tradition of getting together and arguing today. It is the Sega Does 85 to 89 top 10 Master System Mark III games, in which I will be asking Dylan at the end of it, please, Dylan. Let's hope we stay friends at the end of this one, because the SG one got a little bit heated. Hello everybody, I'm Sam the Pixel Dude. Joining me today, we have the 85 to 89 Encyclopedia of Master System. That is the Dylan D. How are we doing, Dylan?
Good, I'm feeling pretty friendly today. So let's hope that our friendship remains as solid as it ever has been or will be. Or
this one's going to test us, my friend. I'm pretty sure.
It will.
This is a great song. I love this song. Don't make them like this anymore.
That's true. There's a lot of hatred today.
Yeah. I blame Eminem. Yeah, okay. So today, people, what are we talking about? Well, if you've listened before to our SG1000 top 10 list, you will know we like doing our top 10s, and Sean697 came up with a good idea. We've been thinking for a while, we want to do some top 10 Master System. Should we do them by year, or should we do them by system, or what should we do? But he said, well guys, you're getting up to 1990, it'll be real nice to take a 5-year chunk and go from 85 to 89 and say what were our top 10 games. So this is today Sega Does top 10 Master System Mark III games from the year 1985 to the end of 1989. There is a lot of rubbish. There are some gems. A lot, yes, a lot. Please don't hate us if you disagree. You will disagree. I will probably disagree with what I disagree with by the end of this. But at the end of it all, we will all be friends and we'll have a nice little chinwag. Now, how we do these things? First, we have to finalise a list of 10 games. And then we have to put those 10 in order, which is always fun.
It is. It was fun last time.
It was fun.
I think it'll be challenging this time.
Yeah, there is a lot of games to get through here, but thankfully there is actually quite a lot of chaff, which is good.
Yes.
So, who wants to go first?
I think. Did you go first last time? I can't remember.
I think I did. Yes.
I think you did. So why don't I go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alex Kidd in Miracle World. No go on that one.
I'm writing it down as a maybe. I didn't even. Oh, straight away, he got me all in a fluster. And I got these. Look, that's my pen. Do you fancy writing right? Freaking out right. Alex Kidd. That's the first one, yeah?
Well, it's one I'm listing. Yeah.
So that is what you would like. You would like Alex, the first Alex Kidd, the one with the stupid ears and the punching things.
Yeah.
In your top 10. Really?
Yep.
Okay. That's a maybe then.
Okay. And then
one more.
Power Strike.
What was that?
See, we were just talking last time about how Master System titles are just so generic, and I had to look it up, but
Power Strike.
It's a shoot 'em up, and I loved it. I remember when I read my review, I learned a lot from reading my review, actually, that it was a fun game. No, I do remember playing it after reading it. It'd been a while.
It's Power Strike. Okay. I will refresh my memory in a minute. I will be honest, that did not come straight to my mind. Okay, so there's 2 from Dylan. Okay, one I have here. Can you hear my pen? Real paper. People don't use this shit anymore. Right, I have R-Type.
Of course, absolutely.
Is that a lock, do we think, then?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Has to be.
So I've got 3 bits of paper here. I've got locks, my suggestions and your suggestions. So R-Type's definitely going on.
That's the biggest lock I can think of.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I'm going to really cheat then, because I just want to be cool, and I'm going to say Fantasy Star.
That's a good lock too. Solid.
Hey Dylan,
Not
we are
gonna break
20% of the way there.
Yay!
Yay! I have a feeling me and you will disagree in what order they go in.
Agreed.
Okay, 2 for you, my friend.
Agree to disagree. Next one, let's do Zillion.
I have Zillion.
Oh, nice.
So we lock
I
it.
wasn't sure. I couldn't remember how you felt about that one.
I've replayed it because I've looked at a few other people's lists. Not that I was cheating, but I was. And I replayed it again, and actually that game is... You think Wonder Boy 3 was ahead of its time? Well, you know what? Zillion wasn't far behind, really.
Yeah. Zillion was older, too.
Yeah,
87.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so we lock in Zillion.
Yep.
Okay, so
and Shinobi.
Shinobi.
It's a big maybe.
That's a maybe. I'll let that one maybes. Okay. Shinobi maybe. Okay.
Okay, that's my 2.
I know. I'm trying to decide whether to be a git or not. Wonder Boy 3.
Yep.
Wonder Boy Twat. Wonder Boy Twat. Okay. And Choplifter.
Really? For the Master System? I mean,
It's funny, you know, because the other day I listened to our SG-1000 episode and refreshed my memory a little bit on how the hell we did these things, and you was very mean about Choplifter.
I just didn't like the Master System version. I like the SG-1000 version a lot, but I thought the Master System version was too hard, personally.
Some people can just fly, you know, and some people can't. You know.
But if you like it, then
it's in the maybes. It's in the maybes. Okay.
All right.
Well, we got 4 now. Go on then. Here we go. 2 more.
2 more for me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh, you're really not gonna like this one. We're gonna have to compromise on Choplifter in this one. Fantasy Zone 2. Yeah. I thought that would be about your reaction to that one.
Oh dear.
Oh, Barry!
That's an old Barry. Jeez. Really?
Yeah, but I know you don't like that franchise as a whole. So
that was too close.
Damn right. Okay, I'll put it in the maybes. We may come up with a deal there. Maybe. Fantasy Zone. See, the deals are one thing, and then you get to actually putting the things in order, and then the fights start. Okay.
Right.
So Fantasy Zone 2. Okay.
Okay, and there's another one that we're gonna wrestle with because I know you don't like this one either. Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars.
Is that the one where you start in a house? And you have to go to the...
Alex Kidd's sprite is very large, and it's more of an arcade platformer than it is a Alex Kidd game.
What was it called? Alex?
The Lost Stars?
Kidd Lost Stars.
It's very colorful. I think it takes great advantage of the Master System.
When I see a picture, I will remember it.
You will remember.
I know.
It's hard to forget.
Okay. When did it come out?
88.
88. See, look, because of the power of Sega does, smiley face, I can just go straight to the Sega Master System games list, 1988, and look, there it is. See? The system works.
1987 and 1988 were the top years for Japanese-produced Master System games. Yes.
I remember this game. This game was terrible.
Yeah, I remember you not liking it. Remember you had trouble with the controls.
It had that stupid sound, didn't it?
I love that sound. So funny. Oh. Man, what a wiener Alex Kidd is.
B+. I remember fighting about this now. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. We've still only got 4 locks. Okay. Right.
That's it.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. California Games.
I mean, I'm not really a fan of Choplifter, but I just absolutely hate that game, California Games.
Yeah, let's just put that on the maybe. And Super Racing. I am very serious about Super
That's
Racing.
one I don't actually remember.
No.
Because it's called Super Racing, and I don't... There's nothing to distinguish it.
It's the racing game where the main thing that stood out, actually, because it's obviously like a 2D racing game, I think it was from top down, but the problem with like top down races, you can never see what the hell the turns are coming up, and this one actually had a real nice system showing you what turns were coming up, and was actually playable for a 2D racing game, which is virtually never happened before, ever. I'm on about top down, not forward.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Remember?
And, yeah. It was a good one. I gave it a B+, but I just don't remember it. So.
Okay. Anything else?
I have some runners-up, which you might appreciate more. I don't know. You want to...
Yeah.
Gangster Town.
No.
Okay, that's why it's a runner-up, because I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to bother with that one. Megumi Rescue. That one was that game where you rescue the people out of the building. You're a firefighter.
Right, yeah.
I like that game.
Oh, we've only got 4 locks. Okay, Shinobi. I like Shinobi.
Okay.
It's in my maybes, maybe to go ups. So we'll have Shinobi in the locks.
Okay.
Looking back, I've got a note here on the review. Sean didn't agree with my. I think at the time I said it was not very good. I actually went back and played it, Sean, on your advice, and I agree with Sean. It's actually pretty damn good. One of the ones he had in his top 10, I do believe, which is good. Damn. We got Zillion. Oh, another one I got on my list is Ghost House.
Yeah, I didn't care much for that one.
No Ghost House.
Okay. It's a very different game.
Yeah.
Very distinct. Not really a fan though.
No. In terms of Wonder Boys.
Yeah.
I would actually quite like to put Wonder Boy 2 on this list.
Well, I was thinking if you wanted to get rid of Alex Kidd in Miracle World and throw Wonder Boy and Monsterland on there as a lock.
But do we think? I really don't like putting more than one game from one franchise on a list. I don't know why. But
yeah. Well, in that case, then
I tell you what. All right, Alex Kidd can go.
Well, I'll say this. If I had to pick one of those Alex Kidd games, it would be The Lost Stars. But I know you hate that game, so it's gonna be Miracle World, I'm sure. But
I tell you what.
Yeah.
If we can have Choplifter on there,
okay,
you can have Lost Stars.
That's fine.
You sure?
That's a good deal. Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. Got a bit of cold today.
Right, so
just today though.
So far on the list, on the lock list, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. We've got
7.
R-Type, Phantasy Star, Zillion, Wonder Boy 3, Shinobi, Alex Kidd, The Lost Stars, and Choplifter.
I love you say that with just such disdain. It's so
such a Monty Python draw. Alex Kidd and Lost Stars. Okay. So we need 3 more.
Yeah. What did you think of that Ease? Well, it looks like Wise, but Ease,
Wise.
Yeah.
Wise. That's Ancient Vanishing Omen. Is that right?
I think you're right.
Yeah. Memory.
It
works sometimes. Oh yeah, there it is. Vanished Omen. Let me have a little look.
That was on my runner-up list.
Wise. Oh yeah.
I love it.
guys, how about news?
Ooh, zing.
Zing. I don't know.
You know what game I love that I would not mind being on this list, but I don't know if we reviewed it together.
You're right, what's that?
Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Like a Mahjong-esque title.
Yes, I remember that. I don't play. I can't play those games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I tell you what. I will be fair. I know I'm in the minority with Fantasy Zone, and a lot of the lists that I've looked at over the last week have had Fantasy Zone. I can't say that word. Fantasy Zone 2. Even my mouth hates the word. It hates the game. In it. So let's have Fantasy Zone 2 on there. Because it's more than anything, it's not the actual game that's the problem. It's the look and the premise. It's just stupid.
I see. Gotcha.
So, Fantasy Zone 2. So that's 8.
Okay.
Just enough room for California games.
Just enough room for world games on there.
No.
What about whoa, I totally missed this one. This has to be on there.
Well,
and I would actually Golvelius. This has to be on there.
Of course it does. That's the Zelda clone.
Right.
Yeah, of course it does.
Sweet.
Why did I not?
I just totally.
No, I know exactly the game. It's yeah. Let me. Golvelius.
I spaced that one.
Yeah,
I had it on my list and everything.
It's a stupid name. Isn't it Valley?
But you remember it.
Valley
it's not
of
like Power Strike.
Valley of something.
Valley of Doom.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
There it is. Golvelius. Valley of Doom. That's it. That was a good game.
Yeah.
I prefer that over the original Legend of Zelda. I'm not an original Legend of Zelda fan at all.
I like the dungeons. We'll get to that when we discuss Golvelius.
So we have 9. Just enough room for California games.
You know what?
I can't know. I would love to put it on there, but I have a feeling it would kill your credibility.
I gave it a D-. I can't in good conscience throw it on there. If it was like a C, I could maybe work with it.
It's a pure nostalgia trip. I'm sorry, but it is. You can surf and skate.
That's very 80s, very late 80s. What about Spellcaster? Do you remember that one?
Nope.
Yeah.
It was what you got on your list here?
It was like
That's not my list. Yeah.
It's like a side scroller but action game, but you use spells and you it wasn't just like straightforward beat 'em up stuff. Like you use spells to get around, and there were some adventure elements to it. It had a neat. What I like is it had a neat art style and kind of a mix of like ninja stuff and like
ninja stuff.
I don't know. I'm looking at it now and I don't really remember it, but I gave it a B, so apparently it was good. As you can tell, we've really done a lot of research and effort into this.
Look at it all. I said before, there's not really. I've got 5 games that I will swing for, but.
Well, okay. Besides California games, what are they?
R-Type, Phantasy Star.
Well, I mean. Oh, sorry. Well, I was just gonna say like the ones that we were maybe about.
Oh, okay.
Besides California games.
See, I've got Choplifter on there.
You've got it on the list, right?
Yeah. So I'm quite happy.
Really. Okay.
And we've got Zillion as well. I wanted Zillion on there.
Yeah, Zillion's on there.
So it's just this Wonder Boy 2 thing. You know, it should be on there. Because, I mean, you gave it quite a good grade, didn't you?
I gave it a B+,
Yeah.
Just throw it on there. Who cares? It's our list. This doesn't have.
It is different enough, isn't it, to Wonder Boy 3?
Yeah, it is. It's not the same.
Like,
I mean, there's some similar elements to it.
Yeah, but I mean, like Wonder Boy 3, you're basically playing as like 4 different characters almost. You know, it's like comparing Yoshi's Island to Mario World.
Right.
So I think Wonder Boy 2 should be going on there.
Okay. Yay.
Yay.
Thank God.
Now the fun starts. Wonder Boy.
Yes.
Good. Okay, so people, we have top 10. We have Gorvelius, R-Type, Phantasy Star, Zillion, Wonder Boy 3, Shinobi, Alex Kidd, The Lost Stars, Shoplifter, Fantasy Zone. I can't say that word. Fantasy Zone, and Wonder Boy. Cool. So that is 10, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Not
8, 9,
a
10.
bad list.
Not a bad list. I would play all of those, apart from Alex Kidd and Fantasy Zone.
I'd give Choplifter another shot. It's been a long time.
Physics, man. Physics. Right. We've got to try and get this in some sort of order now.
So we'll go with number 10.
Sorry, I'm playing with my new bed music. Don't you just love it? Oh, yeah. And people, it is not. Do you know, I love how I can just do it up and down. It's so cool. Not many podcasts do that. This is not generic bed music, people, by the way. This is probably the best music from the least played Sega game ever. And I will tell you what it is next time. Anyone have a guess of where this bed music is coming from today? You'll get a special mention on the next podcast. So leave it in the comments of episode 34, please. It is awesome. Right. Are we still there, Dylan? Or are we nodded
Yeah.
off?
No, we're here.
So what's at the bottom of this 10?
Well, we're going to have to do some trading, I think. Again.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, because you were so generous in giving me both The Lost Stars and Fantasy Zone 2,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and throw The Lost Stars at number 10. Yeah.
Thank you.
Alex Kidd is not happy about it, but I can live with it. As long as it's on this list, I'm okay with
I have
that.
it somewhere. I'm going to look for that in a minute. Right, so Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars is 10. Number 10, right. You're going to say Choplifter next night.
Well, let's talk about why I like Alex Kidd.
Yeah, come on. That's a good point. Let's have a listen. Come on, why is that? Why is it good?
Because Miracle World was a complete break from it. It was a platformer, but it was not like a Mario game, and it was Sega trying to do their own thing while also copying the idea that, well, Nintendo has a mascot, so now we got to have one, which makes sense. But they totally did. They went their own way, like Fleetwood Mac, and the Lost Stars is an arcade port, and it plays more like a Mario game, because it's more fast-paced. There's no real emphasis on getting money. It's just get to the end of the level, and that's it. But while I think the gameplay is, I think the platforming is pretty rudimentary.
Really?
I just love all the weird stuff going on in that game. If you go to the Lost Stars review on Sega Does and just look at some of the screenshots on there, there's just some madness, including my absolute favorite screenshot of all time with the naked punk, the naked mohawked punk, like mooning you. It's one of those games that I could see myself replaying like every couple of years, just because it's so out there. And best yet, it doesn't feel like any other Alex Kidd game, which is a good thing. It's very much its own entity. So that's why I had it on my list. I just think it's very, very different and very unusual.
It's different
in a good way.
It's different. I can't find the scream. I'm very disappointed in myself. Oh well. Next time, people. That's the worst. It's such a bad sample as well.
It's so shrill. It's so shrill. That scream. So what we're talking about, when Alex Kidd dies,
I'm gonna have to find it. I'm gonna find it in a minute.
He makes this horrific yell, and at first it annoyed me terribly.
Let's have a look for this.
Okay. But
there's a miracle ball. Here we go. Get ready, people. There we go.
But the more you hear it, the better it gets.
It'll happen again. There we go. Oh no, I didn't do it. Oh, where is it? Right. Here we go. It's coming. Ready? It's terrible. That music.
Terribly entertaining. The music's stupid.
There is a bird crapping on my head right now. Now I'm jumping on a gherkin thing. Now there's a... Where did that come? This is just... Now a punk has farted on me. With ginger hair and glasses and no clothes on. It's just... What?
So anyway, that's why I love...
That's number 10, apparently, people.
Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars.
Nuts.
Over Miracle World. Yeah.
Nuts. There we go. Let's have a bit of that back. Jesus. Let's have some decorum in this place.
So what's number 9?
I think it's going to have to be Choplifter.
It is. You are correct.
Okay. Choplifter we've talked about a lot before. It is a very... It's almost like a... It's a weird thing to say, but it's like an Angry Bird-esque game. It's like you do one thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, but you do it very well. It's... I've said it once, I'll say it again. When you get Choplifter right, you feel so good. You know, you swing in there, you're dodging all this enemy fire... You fly down, you just take out that turret just at the right time, you fly down, 4 or 5 guys jump in your helicopter, you take off, dodging fire, swing it round, like fly it backwards, you fly backwards into the port and they all get out, and it's just, when you get it right, it's really good. The SG-1000 version of the game strangely controls better.
Yes.
Which is weird.
The physics in the Master System version are very heavy, and they feel heavy. Burdensome, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. Some real nice scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Some fake parallax going on. I think it's fake. Yeah, because it couldn't do parallax scrolling natively, could it? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But you know, there's several layers of it as well, which is even more impressive. And... It's just great. A well-worthy top 10, I think. Up to 89. It's funny because I've been playing a lot of Master System games the last week, and the Master System really, really hit its stride past 1990.
Yeah, it's a shame. 89 was by far my least favorite year, I think, for Master System games. There just really wasn't anything, and the ones that were put out felt very half-assed. Just not like Sega couldn't have been bothered to put any effort into them, with the exception of Wonder Boy 3, which was by West 1, not Sega anyway.
All right.
So
okay.
yeah 89. I'm looking forward to the later Master System
there
years.
Is a fantastic Donald Duck game coming up, that's all I'm going to say, but it's just, it looks like a Super Nintendo game. It's so good. Right. It's European only as well, which makes it even more interesting. Next, Number 8.
Number 8. Were you doing Fantasy Zone 2?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Fantasy Zone 2, The Tears of Opa Opa.
The Tears of a Spaceship.
Which, that subtitle was taken out for the US and I believe European release as well. Really? But definitely definitely the US release. Probably because...
I never knew that.
You know, the tears, it's not manly. It's not... just...
Do you really think that's why it was?
Who knows? Why did they do things back in the 80s?
Why not? Was the answer.
I really don't know. Like, did they have 3 people working at Sega of America? Like, who worked at Sega of America in 1987? That'd be something to look into.
Oh, well,
the bouncer did.
The bouncer worked. Sorry.
Why do I like this game? For all the reasons that Sam doesn't like this game.
Yes.
Great
answer.
Love the art style. I love the fact that it's not your traditional shoot 'em up at all.
No, so non-traditional that it may even be called confusing, shall we say?
Yeah, I would actually not disagree with that. If you have no idea like if you just go into it and going like, oh, this is a shooter, but then you try and do things the normal shoot 'em up way, you will
perish, my friend. You will be gone
very quickly. For those who haven't played, a brief synopsis: you essentially control this little ship called Opa Opa, and you destroy these bases that spew out weapons at you, or spew out weapons, and which sounds very cold and mechanical, but the whole world is like all the worlds in the game are just crazy. I don't know how else to say.
They are.
They're just very surreal,
nuts.
And all the enemies look just freaking bizarre and very Japanese and very, very colorful. This is probably still one of my favorite looking Master System games. It's so colorful. The Nintendo couldn't have even done this if it wanted to. It's just
no chance.
Such a fantastic
a lot of these games. I'll probably touch it at the end, but even in '89, you were starting to see the hardware differences, and if people could have taken their head out of Nintendo's arse for 5 seconds during '89 and had a look at the Master System, then there was actually some very impressive stuff going on.
Yeah. I think the Master System, not to get too far off topic, and I probably mentioned this on a different podcast, but the system itself is fantastic.
Yeah.
Is a fantastic piece of hardware that was sadly underutilized because of Nintendo's strict was it licensing, right? Because whoever made games for their console couldn't really make games for Sega.
Yeah, there was a clause somewhere in the cartridge production agreement that I mean, nowadays we call it a ROM, but I don't think they called it that back in the day. But like that program as such could not be published in a similar form on, you know, certain things unless otherwise stipulated. So
right.
you got like the crap stuff, like all the winter games and the California games and stuff like that. But hence, like, I mean, they had like deals with like Capcom and Konami and stuff like that, where that's why you didn't get them on the Master System, because they couldn't, because they signed these deals too early and they were locked in. That's why when the Mega Drive came out, they kind of flooded to it and embraced it quite heavily.
Yeah. And Nintendo had to totally restructure their agreements, otherwise they weren't going to have any publishers left. So
which was best for both people.
It really was.
And there was another reason why we got like the I mean, there's lots of examples of it, but the example I can think of is like the Disney games of the time, where you got completely different versions on the Genesis as you did to the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
it wasn't because they wanted to program 2 games, it's because they couldn't. It wasn't allowed, so they had to change it a bit. Also, it was quite difficult programming for 2 completely different chipsets. Not impossible, as some games were very similar, but other games were completely different. Anyway, as a little divulgence there for Josh Dykman. Hope you like that one, Josh.
But Fantasy Zone 2, very bizarre. Not for everyone. I admit it. I don't. If people disagree with that, that's fine. I prefer it over the first one. I feel like Fantasy Zone 2 refines a lot of the problems of the first one, namely the difficulty spikes that kind of come and go. Fantasy Zone 2 eases you into itself a bit more. So that's nice. But nevertheless, number 8, Fantasy Zone 2. Not for everybody.
No.
But a good shooter. Good shooter.
So we've got to find number 7 now.
Oh gosh. I would say Zillion or Shinobi. One of those.
Well, I was actually looking at Wonder Boy 2.
Oh, or that one. Yeah.
Because it does deserve to be on the list, but because it's so similar and not as good as Wonder Boy 3, I think 7's about quite a respectable place for it. I would, thinking about it, I would rather play Wonder Boy 2 than Choplifter or Alex Kidd or Fantasy Zone, but probably not Shinobi or Zillion or R-Type. So,
agreed.
Yeah, does that sound about right?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Number 7.
So why is this a good game?
Why is this a good game? This is in the grand scope of things as what people generally regard as a playable console game. That you can't blame the console for not doing its job properly. And if anything goes wrong, it's actually your fault. This is quality. This is. I'm trying to think of a way to say it. It's like the Mega Man equivalent bar of quality on the Master System. It's got the control, it's got the looks, it's got the sound, it's got the depth. It's something you can hold up and say this is as good, if not better, than anything decent or regarded as good on the Nintendo.
Yeah, it holds its own among games of its kind on the Nintendo.
Yeah, because I mean the first Wonder Boy, yes, it was a very nice looking game and playing game, but it's quite shallow.
And I mean the Nintendo had Adventure Island, which was basically the same game.
Which is basically the same. This did give you the depth. This is the 8-bit sequel syndrome, where they take the original game and kind of change it a bit. Now, it didn't change it quite as much as like Zelda 1 to Zelda 2, and I suppose it is kind of equivalent to a Castlevania 2 kind of.
That's
change.
That's a good way of putting it.
I think it did better than that.
Castlevania 2.
Castlevania 2 is a very challenging game, shall we say, to wrap your head around. I don't think it's as good as the original Castlevania, but Wonder Boy 2 definitely is better than the original Wonder Boy.
Yeah, and it does a lot of interesting things. It's the first, I think it was the first real adventure game on the Master System. It's not an RPG.
No.
But it has adventure elements.
There's backtracking.
There's backtracking.
It's not a traditional side scroll. You don't just go left to right and carry on. You have to go back and revisit areas and unlock things. So.
Right, and you have to get better armor and better weapons and so it's a lot more in depth than a lot of the Master System games up to that point. And of course, there would be more in depth ones coming up here soon.
Yeah,
that we'll talk about. But for the time, this was just about it. It's like
it really was. Yeah,
this and Miracle World, I'm pretty sure were like the two that promised more of an adventure. And if I'm not mistaken, I know Miracle World, you have to beat it in one go. I think you have to beat this one in one go too.
Really?
I don't think there's a password system. So you have to beat this whole thing. There's no save option and no password. I'm fairly confident.
Can you look that up?
I will.
I'm quite interested to know.
The only thing that I really don't like about this game is how, and they corrected it in Wonder Boy 3, is how hard it is to get all the gold you need for the weapons and stuff.
There's a bit of grind going on.
Yeah, pretty bad. So it's... Oh, apparently there is a code for a level select.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it works, though.
Yeah. So we'll probably say no, then.
There's definitely not a password system, though.
No, which is interesting. Okay, so that's number 7. So far, number 10, we've got Alex Kidd, Lost Stars. Number 9, Shoplifter. Number 8, Fantasy Zone 2. And number 7, Wonder Boy 2. Now, next up is number 6.
Number 6.
I'm just trying...
Shinobi?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm just trying to find Sean's list. I'm going to find it.
Do we want to read Sean's after?
I just want it. We will read Sean's after, but I just want to compare.
Yeah.
So what we're thinking, Shinobi?
It's got to be Shinobi or Zillion. But I think Shinobi, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like Shinobi a lot. I like the pacing of it. But Zillion has more depth.
It's got legs, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my vote, Shinobi.
Okay, let's stick Shinobi at 6.
Okay.
Shinobi at 6. Refresh my memory. Is this a... This is an arcade port, yeah?
Yes.
Obviously, Shinobi's more famous for its Mega Drive Genesis games, wouldn't you say?
Say that again.
I said Shinobi is more famous for its Genesis games.
Right, like Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3. Yeah.
That's cool.
The original, I don't believe got a Genesis. No, it didn't.
Yes.
But the original Shinobi got a Genesis port?
I'm sure it did. I may be wrong.
For some reason,
but I'm
I thought
pretty
it started at Revenge, but
I may be wrong. I'm not claiming to be a Shinobi expert.
Yeah, I'm not, obviously.
No.
I really just, what I like about this game as an aging as an aging gamer who doesn't have the same reaction time as he did as a kid.
No.
I like how this is a slower paced action game. There's more timing attacks involved versus you just, enemies come at you and you just have to hit them as quick as you can and avoid their fire and that sort of thing. The enemies are very precariously placed throughout the stage, and you can see them and you take care of them with your throwing stars or whatever. I like the feel of Shinobi because it's not. It could have been done. Actually, it was done on the Nintendo. It was a terrible unlicensed port by Tengen. But it doesn't feel like a Nintendo action game. It feels like a Sega action game, and I like that. But a good Sega action game, not like Black Belt or something. No. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one.
I thought we could do some Japanese ninja music. I'm sorry.
There we go.
I'm playing around.
And I like that how difficult it is. You never. It always feels like it's your fault when you die.
Yeah.
You never feel like though the game is cheap or whatever. It
was better than I expected for a Master System version.
Right. exactly.
I mean, at the time, obviously, you wouldn't have had the Genesis versions to compare it to, but now we do, and
well,
it's not too bad.
And let me say, most Sega arcade ports for the Master System were not this good. They're not as good as Shinobi. That's why you will not hear Space Harrier, Afterburner, Hang On, Outrun on this list. You're not going to hear them because they're just not up to snuff. But Shinobi is, and it's doesn't look as good as the arcade, but it plays like the arcade. And yeah, so
Shinobi number 6. So now we're moving into the realms of top 5s. So this is where the big guns come out.
Yes.
And on the discussion that was having before we picked number 6, I'm guessing it's going to be Zillion.
I think so. I mean, what? Yeah, that would be my my choice at this point.
Mine too. It's funny how high Golvelius is getting, and we completely forgot about it.
I had it high on my initial list though, so
I really did like it. I can't believe I forgot it. I'm so embarrassed. So,
so right. Zillion, you just played it recently, so that makes you a perfect candidate to talk about why it's good.
I remember at the time thinking, "Wow, this is very Metroid." I thought the atmosphere was very good in the game in terms of some games are very poor at setting their situation. Like it's like games are set in the jungle, but they look very generic, and it looks like a spaghetti trees rather than rather than an actual jungle. This felt where like you're in space stations, you're on planets. It felt where it's supposed to be, which I really liked. The backtracking and stuff, like the Metroid-esque like take, we hadn't really seen before this on the Master System. When did this come out? I can't remember.
87.
It's 87, and Metroid was 86, 5, one of those.
Metroid was 87 in the US, but it was 86 in Japan.
Right. So around the same-ish time, I don't like to say that like game designers copied each other, because I don't think they did back then really. But they did, but not in that quicker iteration. But I think people were just coming to the same kind of conclusions of what they could do.
Yeah.
And that's more the case here. Whether this was like a Sega mandate, like we need one of these, we need one of these adventure games where you look around and find things and find keys and go back and forth, and I don't think it was that. I think game designers were just coming to that sort of conclusion. This was the game that had the anime that was based on the light phaser.
And that's because the light phaser came out prior, but all the characters had light phasers.
Yeah,
in the show.
There's an anime for the gun. Really, it's like an advertisement for the light phaser. Really.
Yeah.
Because it's not even hiding that. I mean, it's even got a cable in the anime. Actually, on the box art as well. There's like they're holding the light phasers, all 3 characters, and they have the cables that are going to like their belts. Obviously, they're not carrying a Master System around with them, because that would just be crazy.
That would be amazing.
That would be just. Can you imagine that? That would be so cool.
The future is here.
It's like that typing of the Dead where they're running around with Dreamcast on their back. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that was really good.
It was as deep as games had got when it came out. There were nice little like dialogue elements with like talking heads and stuff like that. You had to find keys, find your way around. There wasn't any map though, if I remember right. So it was a good old graph paper game, which I mean you can't really blame it for back then.
And it wasn't as convoluted of a system like an area as Metroid. Like Metroid needed a map really bad, but this game you could just make some notes and you probably wouldn't get too lost.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Don't fall asleep now. Okay, so Zillion, number 5.
Can I just mention, and I would love to do some research, but unfortunately, I don't even know where you would start with this.
Uh-huh.
This is a Sega developed game.
Right.
There are plenty of other Sega developed games that are bad and generic and not interesting for the Master System. I want to know, like, how many teams did they really have working round the clock on all the Master System games? Because they provided 95% of the library.
Yeah.
Like, even the games that weren't theirs, they ported over.
It's crazy. It's almost like a Dreamcast situation again.
Yeah, wow. Sunrise, sunset, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they kind of just like fell off in the middle.
Yeah. That's really weird.
Nothing came out for the Saturn. Nothing.
Not here. In Japan, there's tons of Saturn software.
What, Sega developed?
Oh, I don't know about that.
That would be
just
really
in general.
interesting to find out. Because it's so weird. They nailed it with the Mega Drive. They really nailed it. And the Saturn just fell to pieces. And then they nailed it again with the Dreamcast. But they didn't have the body, like the user base to do a PlayStation to make it what it needed it to be. They just had to kind of cobble it together, but they didn't half cobble well. And,
right. Well, I read an interesting theory yesterday, and I don't want to get too off track here, but that the Mega Drive / Genesis was a successful system, but the only reason it was successful was because it was anti-Nintendo. And if you think about that, it makes a lot of sense, because
that does.
Sega fans, like, you have the diehards, but a lot of the millions that bought the Genesis arguably moved on to the PlayStation. If they were anti-Nintendo, they didn't like, oh, we're gonna stick with Sega through thick and thin.
That's the UK market. You've just described it perfectly.
Yeah, they were Sega fans, and then they moved on
Yep.
to PlayStation. Yeah.
Perfect.
So, and I would argue too at this point that the Dreamcast is when Sega actually developed their own identity as a game console maker, but it was too late. So that's it.
There's another,
arcades. What's that?
There's another little divergence for Josh.
There you go, Josh. What are we up to?
We're up to number 4.
Really? Okay.
Really? It's gone a lot smoother than I thought.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if we're gonna agree on this one, but I would put Wonder Boy 3 number 4.
Whoa! No, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that made me cough. What?
Remember when I gave it an A-? No. Okay,
but hang on. Well, let me try and understand this. Let's have a look. So we've got. I need some music to help me think. There we go. Come back, please. I need something to take my mind off this. Here we go. Right. So let's have a look. We've got. Wow. So we've got Wonder Boy 3, Phantasy Star, R-Type, and Gorvelis. So you think that Gorvelis? Jeez, I don't know, man. I don't know. Really? Explain your show your work, as they say in the exam world.
Show your work.
Show your work. Please see me, red pen.
I kind of touched on this in the last episode. I do feel like some of the platforming sections are a little tedious, and it actually hurts the game because there's a handful of them that kind of bring the game down a little bit, if I'm honest. The game does so much right that it's unfortunate to me that I just don't. It's not that I dislike the sections. I just feel like they go on and on and on.
Okay.
And there's some areas where there's so many enemies that you just get overwhelmed, and it's
I was thinking Gorvelius next.
I can get down with that. If we put Wonder Boy at number 3, I can get down with Golvelius at number 4.
So you're proposing. Let me get my pen out. Where's my pen? Interactive pens. There we go. Right. So you're proposing Gorvelius 4 and then Wonder Boy 3 at 3. That's funny. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Okay.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that. As long as you talk about Gorvelius. We talked pretty in depth about Wonder Boy 3 in the last episode, which will be not far behind this one, so you probably literally just listened to it as you've listened to this. Wonder Boy 3, it builds on what Wonder Boy 2 did, but makes it better, I would say, probably in every single way. The graphics, sound, the depth, there's more in-depth mechanics in terms of buying stuff, upgrading. There's more items. There's also the added, like, it's the, what do you call it, like the suit mechanic, I suppose. That games throw in, you know. It's old hat now, but back then it wasn't. There's the various forms of creature, shall we say, not really animals, creature that you can take forth whilst you're exploring the areas. There's the exploration aspect that I actually found quite enjoyable, like actually looking around. I was more impressed with the music and sound in Wonder Boy 2. It is better in Wonder Boy 3, but I thought they could have maybe developed it a little bit more. I think the one aspect of the Master System that was actually a little bit lacking was the sound chip.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have, I mean, technically, in a very technical bits and bytes rate way, it is better than what was in the NES. But it just doesn't sound as good.
No. There's not a lot of, I feel like there's not a lot of, I don't want to say there's not melody.
Character.
The character, yeah.
I mean, they made up for it with the Genesis.
Yeah, absolutely. The Genesis feels like one long cold night somewhere out in a city like New York City.
Yeah.
And you just have to survive. That's like every Genesis soundtrack.
The Genesis soundtrack is Streets of Rage.
Right.
The game.
Right. And Sonic.
Yeah. And Sonic. God,
so
Sonic 3 has got such a good soundtrack. It's crazy. What the hell was that?
So Wonder Boy 3 is it is a great game, and it is one of the best Master System games by far. It does so much that's different. We hadn't seen up until that point.
No.
Both on the Master System and just in games in general.
Yeah, games in general.
So
Gorvelius then at number 4.
Yeah, Golvelius at number 4.
The Zelda-ish clone that ever did grace the Master System. Well, so far.
Yeah. And it is better than Zelda because the world is much more interesting to explore.
It's a lot more dense. Very dense.
A lot more dense. It feels like a world. I don't know. Hyrule to me in the original Legend of Zelda feels like a bunch of, it's like cut and paste areas.
Oh yeah.
Like it doesn't feel connected to me at all. And frankly, it's a little boring too. The dungeons in Legend of Zelda are great. And the dungeons here are admittedly not as good, but there's so much going on in Golvelius. There's an adventure portion which is just like Zelda. So you're out in the main world and you're looking around and you're, finding items and getting money and upgrading your stuff and da 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 da. There's also side-scrolling dungeons that are platforming based. Very, very interesting. And then there's also like top down vertically scrolling shoot 'em up dungeons, which are just weird. So neither of those types are as deep as the original Zeldas, but
No.
the fact that they exist, it's very, very different and very interesting. I really think there's a lot of personality in this game, a lot of character.
You never hear anybody talk about it.
No, nobody talks about it. I had no idea it existed until I played it for this quest, and I have yet to forget it. And in fact, I appreciate it more than Zelda, the original Zelda, because I just think it takes the formula and expands upon it beautifully. So yeah, it's a great action RPG. And one I think everybody should play, regardless of their affinity for Zelda or whether they like or dislike the Master System. It's a must play. It really is.
It's better than any of those Zelda indie clones you'll play. Trust us, it's better.
Yeah, that's true.
So that leaves us with R-Type and Phantasy Star. Now, I will be honest, I'm not really bothered which way around these go, because they are both really, really good. And back when we did R-Type, which actually wasn't that long ago, we talked about it in our catch-up episode. I said, yeah, okay, for me, it's not as good as the 16-bit versions. I fell in love with 16-bit versions. It just doesn't hold it for me quite as much as those. I'll still stick by that, but I went back and played it because I knew it was going to be in my top 5, top 3. So I went back and played it earlier this week, as Sean told me to do. And man, that is a good 8-bit shooter.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really, really, like almost. Well, no, not almost. You do forget what console you're playing it on. It's really good. Really good. But then you've got Phantasy Star, which was doing things that people didn't think was possible on a console. It's, in my opinion, it's miles better than the first Final Fantasy. Miles better. And I think it's even miles better than the first one on the Super Nintendo, if I'm honest. But I mean, the dungeons, people didn't believe the screenshots at the time. They didn't believe the dungeons could look like that. It was very clever programming. It's very simple. It's camera trickery is what it is. It's not really even doing that much, but it was so well thought out, and the story was fantastic, and the female protagonist, which you didn't see back then, especially from a Japanese game, no way. It just, I don't know.
Plus 87?
87.
Yeah. I gotta be honest with you. I don't really care which order these go in either. So we're just gonna have to. R-Type might be my favorite 8-bit shooter. It's up there with Life Force. I love Life Force for different reasons. I love R-Type because it just manhandles you. I mean,
it's rock hard.
That's brutal.
Jesus, it's hard.
But I love Phantasy Star.
Thank God for that save state button on your Master System, eh?
That's right. Sega was miles ahead of their time with that one. Yeah. Man. But Phantasy Star, I enjoyed the journey with that game. I'm
in awe of it more than I enjoy playing it. I will never play it again.
Right, me neither.
See, I think that's probably the way we have to look at this. I will never play Phantasy Star again, ever.
Right.
You know, I've seen it, I've done it. It was amazing. If I'd played, I mean, God, I was like, I couldn't even walk in 87. But, you know, if I was like 12, 13, 14 in 87 and played this game, it would have been, it would have been the Metal Gear 2, the Final Fantasy 7 moment. It would have been that.
Yeah,
but
I totally agree.
Even if I played it back then, I still don't think now I would play it again.
No, I mean, as much as I enjoyed it, even though I just played it last year.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. But there were some parts where I'm like, okay, this is a bit much to get through. A lot of grinding. I mean, mid-80s.
Yeah.
Mid-80s RPG.
You do forgive it for that, though. And you probably shouldn't. But you kind of do say, okay, fair enough. It's an 8-bit, for a start, RPG. From 87 on a console that no one cared about and nobody thought anything was any good on it ever. And then it comes along, and I think it is the best 8-bit RPG.
Yeah,
I mean, there is Earthbound Beginnings, which I haven't actually played all the way through.
Yeah, I don't think that one can hold a candle either to Phantasy Star.
The grind is very real in that game. So I think what we're saying here, Dylan, is R-Type's number 1.
I think so. Because I would play R-Type again.
Yes, I'd play it now.
Right now.
I might give it up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both are fantastic games. But
Okay.
one is more for its influence and more for what it did. And R-Type remains completely playable and completely enjoyable. So, yeah, I think you're right. R-Type, numero uno.
There we go. So, the list. From 10 to 1, we have, at number 10, Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars.
Yes.
Golf clap. We have number 9, Choplifter. Very good. Number 8, Fantasy Zone 2. Number 7, Wonder Boy 2. It's funny we started getting sequels. Number 6, Shinobi. Number 5, Zillion. Number 4, Gorvelius, which we all forgot about until 60 minutes ago. Number 3, Wonder Boy 3. Number 2, Phantasy Star. And number 1, with a bullet, see what I did there, R-Type.
Yay! See, there were some halfway decent games for the Master System.
There was.
Yeah.
And I've just lost Sean's list. Well done, son. I will find it. So there we go. What are we thinking, Dylan? Anything there that surprised you? That's not called Choplifter?
No, not really.
No.
Because a lot of those games, I mean, here's the thing with the Master System. These are the games that you want to play.
Yeah.
The ones we just listed, these are the ones. I mean, yeah, there's a handful that you might get some enjoyment out of that are not on this list. But if you're going to dabble, these are the games you should dabble in.
Yeah. Personally, there are better games coming, and I don't think that when we get round to doing the all-encompassing top 10 Sega Master System list, I think there will only be about 3 of these games, maybe 4, still standing.
Yeah, I could see that.
There's some good stuff coming. Some really good stuff.
Yeah.
Here we have Sean's list, the famous Sean 697. Wow, that's remarkably close. Okay, there's 11 for some reason. Well done, Sean. 11, he has Alex Kidd in Miracle World. Okay. At number 10, we have Outrun, which is one of the arcade ports, which me and you kind of completely on our own, but kind of telepathically said no to in this whole list. There's Outrun, there's Afterburner, there's Space Harrier, which were just too much of a mess, really.
Yes.
In my opinion, I think you agree to be on the list. But yeah, it's Sean. He was there. To be fair to him, I was a bit too young to be there back in the day, even for European Mass System standards. But Sean was back there, so He has his own opinion. So, Outrun at 10. 9, Shooting Gallery. 8, Wonder Boy, the original. 7, The Ninja. Seriously, underrated in your review. It says there.
No, not at all.
No. 6, Shinobi, which we had at number 6. 5, R-Type.
Kind of surprised by that one.
I was too. 4, Wonder Boy in Monster Land, which we have at 7. 3, Gorvelius, which we have at number 4. 2, Wonder Boy 3, which we have at number 3. And at number 1, Phantasy Star, which we have at number 2. So not too far away, Sean. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed looking at your list, and I looked at it. And to be honest, your list is what made me play R-Type again. So.
Oh, there we go.
So there we go. It was going to be pretty high, but without playing it again, I don't think I'd have been rooting it for number 1, but I am now. So
where would you have put Wonder Boy 3? Because you seem pretty shocked that I wanted it at 4. Would you put it at 3 or number 2?
You know, until I saw R-Type and Phantasy Star like together on the list, and my mind kind of, I did a weird thing with my pen. I kind of circled them both for no apparent reason, like together. And I think, looking at them now, they really do stand out as, you could release these now and people would buy them.
Yeah.
And I don't really think anything else on this list could say that.
Maybe Wonder Boy 3.
Maybe Wonder Boy 3. I think I would have put it at 3. Maybe 2, because I would more likely to play well, definitely, actually, 100% more likely to play Wonder Boy 3 again than Phantasy Star.
Yeah.
But I respect Phantasy Star more than Wonder Boy 3, because doing this for so long, you can put yourself in the situations of a 12-year-old in '87 and just be blown to bits. It's, yeah. I honestly, I wasn't really shocked at what I was thinking. I was more thinking you would have put it higher.
Yeah.
I thought you was going to put it higher than R-Type.
No, I loved R-Type. It might be the only game I've given a straight A. A Master System game I've given an A, I think. Actually, I don't even think I gave Phantasy Star an A. I think I gave it an A-.
Well,
I'm pretty hard on games, I guess. I don't know. People think I am.
I honestly think you're too forgiving. I do. I think you're great. I mean, I agree with an A for R-Type, but I think everything generally is a little bit too high. But it's just that's your scale. My scale is exactly the same as yours, but about a grade lower. So.
Gotcha.
So we're
hear that, folks? I'm not. What is it? I'm not
crazy.
I'm not crazy. Yeah, sure. It's been a long day.
It's
been a long podcast.
So that was episode 34 of the Sega Does podcast. Now, Dylan, this is obviously Sega Does podcast, but why don't we mention just quick a little endeavor you've got going?
Yes, a little endeavor, not Sega related. I am doing a Kickstarter right now for an NES book called the NES Compendium, and it features a review for every NES game ever released in North America, all written by me. So it's about 750 reviews.
Damn.
And it's based on my blog, questicle.net, so you can go check those out. Yeah, so that's up right now. If you want to check it out, go to Kickstarter. You can type in NES Compendium. I know that's a little heavy word there. Or you can just type in my name, Dylan Cornelius, or Dylan NES. I'm sure that will get you there too.
It does.
So there you go. Please check it out. And if you know of anybody who's a Nintendo fan from the 80s and 90s, let them know about that, please, because the more support we can get, the better. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I really want that book. I really want that book.
Me and you both. You know why I want that book? Because I want that book to be out in the world. And
because it's not.
It's not out in the world. And what I mean by that is I want to set it free, Sam.
Oh,
I want to set it free. I've been living with, and I love the Nintendo still. I love the NES, but I've been living with this project for going on 6 years now, and I'm ready to set it free. So, yeah.
Well, one day, my friend, I'm sure it'll be fine. Right.
Yes.
So from me, Sam the Pixel Dude, and Dylan, the NES Encyclopedia Cornelius. Sega.
Sega.